GM, everyone. Hope we're feeling good on this fine Saturday morning. Super excited to be here today. Going to be chatting about Metis, our collaboration with DeFi Kingdoms, and why we're both super excited about it. So I'd love to kick things off. Get my slides up here in a moment. Anyways, I'll get right into it. So what is Metis? I'd love to give some context for people. We are a layer 2 blockchain built on Ethereum. What is a layer 2, you might ask? It is a blockchain on top of a blockchain that bundles transactions, that helps scale it, that helps bring additional use case. We have been around for quite a while in blockchain years at this point, one of the oldest L2s in this space. We launched our mainnet in November of 2021. We've got a wonderful ecosystem of builders, dApps, and wonderful community. Some of which you can see up here on the screen. But I would love to get into some of what we have going on from an infrastructure level, from a partnership level, and why it kind of ties into the amazing partnership that we inked with DeFi Kingdoms. So one of the major upgrades we're super excited about is we're going to be decentralizing our sequencer. So what is a sequencer, you might ask? The sequencer is the entity, in simplest terms, that runs the blockchain of an L2. So it takes all the transactions, it rolls them up, it bundles them, orders them, and posts them to the layer 1. So the current dirty secret of the layer 2s in the industry is they're all extremely centralized. They have a centralized sequencer, which means that if the sequencer goes down, the blockchain goes down. And that's obviously not good when we're thinking about setting up the infrastructure for tomorrow. So we have built the decentralized sequencer stack ourselves. We've been working on it for around 14 months. We're super proud of it. We're hoping to be the first to market with this in about a few weeks. And it's going to bring a lot of really great use case to the chain. So from the infrastructure level, it mitigates the risk of a single point of failure. This is super important to have liveness guarantees, especially when thinking about DeFi Kingdoms as they're looking for a chain to partner with for PvP. If the blockchain goes down, if their gamers aren't able to game, that's not good for anyone. Additionally, it bolsters the censorship resistance. It enhances the resilience of the layer 2 network. So we're super excited about that. And at the end of the day, the essence and the foundation of a sustainable decentralized economy needs to be resistant to downtime. Beyond the infrastructure side of things, there is also value that accrues to the users as well that we're quite excited about. From the economic side, it really drives the flywheel. It redistributes resources and control. It enhances the decentralization naturally. It helps with the sustainability of the chain and allows native staking, which is a feature we're really excited about, and I know our users will be as well. And it aligns the common value and really enhances the network security. So stay tuned for more info on the decentralized sequencer. Super excited about that one. Would love to draw your attention to another major partnership that we just inked recently, EigenLayer. You may have heard of these guys. They're only the second largest DeFi player in the space with $12 billion of TVL. We are going to be kicking off this partnership with their DA, data availability. Now this is a big thing in the blockchain space. As you do transactions and have complex contracts and stuff, you need a great data availability solution, especially when we're thinking about DeFi Kingdoms and what this entails. They have very complex transactions, a lot of complex transaction calls, and we looked for a solution to help provide the best solution for them, for their users, ultimately reducing gas costs, increasing the amount of storage that we can have with the transactions and such. There's also a whole bunch of other amazing features that Eigen is rolling out with their AVS systems. We're going to be able to have native restaking of ETH, native restaking of Metis directly from our chain. There's going to be the option for using Metis to pay for AVSs, which we're super excited about. And one piece that we're really looking into as a dual team is the dual staking for sequencer. So these are all very exciting. Again, it ties into the whole piece with DeFi Kingdoms and enabling a lot more throughput. Another partnership I'd love to bring to your attention is Chainlink CCIP. So when we think about interoperability within the ecosystems, currently it's a bit of a mess. We think the future of blockchains is really going to enable the abstraction of all these complexities away. The users shouldn't need to know, how do I do this complex bridging? Why are there 3 versions of this token? Ultimately, these sorts of things need to be abstracted away, and Chainlink is the, who's who, god tier level secure interoperability protocol. We've been using them for oracles for a while, and with the CCIP rollout, we decided to ink this partnership to allow cross-chain applications, cross-chain transactions, a bunch of really unique use case. But we also don't discriminate, and we know that the interoperability space has a lot of players, so that's why we also have partnerships with the names of Layer 0, Router, dBridge, and Synapse. And Synapse in particular is a very, very strong partner of DeFi Kingdoms. They are their core bridging partner, and things are already underway to sort of enable those routes between DeFi Kingdoms and Metis. So super excited about that as well. Would love to just touch briefly on the Metis EDF. This is our ecosystem development fund, 4.6 million Metis. This currently sits at a $500 million US value. This is going to be powering the ecosystem for the next 10 to 15 years. The majority of this is going to be going towards sequencer rewards. As I mentioned before, we have our decentralized sequencer. Those sequencers need to be economically incentivized. So that will come from the EDF. And as well, the grant side of things for ecosystem development, this also comes from here. So the deal that we did with DeFi Kingdoms, this is all public knowledge now. We did a $2 million deal with them. That came from the Metis EDF. So we're super excited about this. Which brings me to the reason that I'm here today, which is to talk about this incredible partnership. Firstly, I just want to call to attention the DeFi Kingdoms team is absolutely stellar. When we met with these guys for the first time, we loved their energy, we felt their passion, they're dedicated builders, they care about what they're doing, they care about their community. They've been through it all, they're still here, still winning, and those are the kind of teams that we really like to work with. So the big reveal is they will be doing their PvP exclusively on Metis. Player v player. This is sort of the end game of DeFi Kingdoms build out. This has been something that their community has been asking for 2.5 years. When can we battle? Well, the answer is very soon and exclusively on Metis. So I would love to call Dreamer to the stage, who you may and may not know, the president of DeFi Kingdom Studios, to chat more about this. Bring it up.
All right, now that we've heard a lot about Metis and seen everything they're bringing to the chain, let's talk about the end goal. We're making way for one of the most historic, innovative, and heavy-duty dApps out there, DeFi Kingdoms. We launched 2.5 years ago and have chosen one by one a piece of the space to innovate. Started with gamifying DeFi, then dynamic NFTs, then taking those NFTs and layering them on top of each other. Behind me, you see these little guys moving around. It looks fun. These are all real NFTs that players have been leveling up, farming, growing, and playing with. The hero itself has equipment and weapons and cosmetics layered on top of it, and they all bridge together. We've been modifying and growing the experience as well, but we needed to find a new thing to be the first to innovate the right way, to really maximize blockchain technology, and we found the partner to do it with. As mentioned, that's PvP, that's player versus player, and it's going to be done in the Coliseum. So the deal is the biggest deal we've ever done. $2 million to fund player versus player. Now when we think about this, why PvP? We have a deep economy that supports a PvE, player versus environment style gameplay, where that RPG, Final Fantasy-esque experience comes to life on the blockchain. That's fun for the individual. But Web3 is all about community. And we have a very strong one that wants to tear each other apart in the Coliseum. The Coliseum is not just going to be a place to show up and fight each other. It's going to be a way to bring in every other part of the space, from spectators to tournament rewards, to sponsors, and other creative ways to make it interesting to challenge your buddy in DeFi Kingdoms. So let's look at the deal. It was mentioned $2 million. This is a milestone-based deal. there are 3 major milestones to keep in mind. The first to come is going to be private matchmaking, customizable player versus player. Right now you see on the screen 3v3. This is in total dozens of NFTs and tokens entering. We have a lot to figure out from the technology perspective, and a lot of the technology that was announced tonight makes this even possible, so that the gas is as cheap as can be, and we have as much storage to work with. So the first to come, those private matches, we can't reveal too much, and Bolon over here is probably going to tackle me off stage if I say certain things, but that's going to be really interesting in the first step. The second are DeFi Kingdoms tournaments, a tournament series where X period of time, there are going to be very juicy rewards, and hopefully rewards that grow over time as we bring in more sponsors, for our players to come and compete for those rewards, for clout, and for other unique things within the game as well. After that, we're calling them hosted tournaments. This is where anybody could be looking at it and being like, wow, people love DeFi Kingdoms, the tournaments are exciting, the gameplay is cool, we want to talk about it, we want to stream it, and we want to put up some rewards. Instead of coming to DeFi Kingdoms and saying, hey, can you throw a tournament for us? The goal and the idea is any host can come in. So now if you are a creator, if you have a community, if you're within DFK, if you're another game, even if you just enter the space and you want to advertise to a player base that might be relevant to them, they'll be able to host those tournaments. So that 3-part vision is something that isn't going to be, okay, now we can fight each other. It's now we can level up the game. Now we can invite other people to partake, and really everybody wins. So we're extremely, extremely excited about the Coliseum. The partnership with Metis is going to be awesome because we kind of feel like we have somebody that sees our full potential and wants us to exceed it. All the conversations have felt like that. And this moved fast. We first talked and we're like, maybe, a third realm. We've been having third realm potential conversations for over a year. And we kind of took a step back and we're like, is there a better solution here? One that takes all of the success on Avalanche and Clayton, and instead of cannibalizing, adds to it and really creates a symbiotic relationship that pulls people into the full game where you get the full experience and then brings you back to the Coliseum where you really get to compete. We have a really incredible gem here. Speaking of gems, our main token is Jewel, for those of you that are less familiar with DeFi Kingdoms. And some might be wondering, is there going to be a new token associated with this? Usually in our traditional realms, we do. We have a token that represents that realm. The goal at the moment and the focus is to continue to utilize Jewel as the cross-chain token. No plan for a new one, but more details to come on everything that will factor into private, customizable, I'll just say interesting matches, so I don't get in trouble, tournaments and hosted tournaments and more. So really bullish for Jewel, really bullish for Metis and everybody involved in the DeFi Kingdoms ecosystem today and in the future. We're just ready to get out there and for everybody to say, wow, DFK is still around. Not only say, DFK is still around. Wow, they've built more than anybody in the bear market. They've innovated more than anybody in the space. And now all those Web3 gamers that are finding unique ways to bring communities in and do giveaways, you're going to have to remove a lot of that manual stuff and just enter into the tournaments in the Coliseum and have fun and spectate and stream. So that's a little bit about Coliseum. What do you think? Anything to add?
We're super excited. Appreciate the breakdown. I would just say stay tuned. A lot of exciting updates coming. Both communities are extremely excited. I think there's going to be a lot of crossover, a lot of Metis community getting intro to DeFi Kingdoms and vice versa. And ultimately, it's going to be a great time. Come battle on the Coliseum.
So every single time we're in a meeting, every single time that we are on an AMA, we do a thing where we say bullish. And bullish in this space means that you truly believe no matter what the market is doing. And it was a lot harder in the bear market. If people are watching prices now, it's a little bit easier. But regardless, we have the funding, we have the partnership, we have the technology, and we have an incredible team. And I am so incredibly bullish on this Coliseum, PvP, and everything that we're putting together. I want to invite the crowd to kind of end it with us. Usually on every call we say bullish together on some count. I want you to count it off for us since you're coming into the DFK family. And anybody that's curious, please look up DeFi Kingdoms. Go to DeFiKingdoms.com, find us on Twitter, hop on our Discord. We'll help you get in. It's a nostalgic pixel art at its finest, and we are the most blockchain-enabled game out there, and we will continue to be so. So do you want to kick us off in a bullish?
Let's do it. Bullish on 3. 3, 2, 1.
Bullish!
Thank you.